Well, Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio, congressman, was unable to get enough support from fellow Republicans. He can only afford to lose 4 Republican votes. Yesterday, 20 members voted against him, including Representative Colorado Ken Buck.
Jim Jordan has talked about defunding the FBI. He's talked about some things that are fairly radical to most Americans, the folks in the middle who we need to win if we're going to win elections.
It says a lot right there. It's now been 2 weeks since Representative Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker. Until a new one is chosen, the House is unable to consider legislation. And there is also the threat of a potential government shutdown only a month away. Joining us now is Dr. Suzanne Chod, professor of political science at North College. Professor, Dr. Chod, thank you for being with us this morning on the stream again.
Thanks, Brad. Good to be here.
You're a congressional expert, so this must be fascinating for you. Interesting to hear that quote right there from that representative congressman from Colorado, who basically says, you know, Jim Jordan, who has kind of come more center now, but has been right of right, kind of almost right of Trump on some things. You know, saying they need someone more centrist. He didn't get the votes he thought he was going to get. Where do you see this thing going?
It is a tricky situation for the Republicans to be in, and for Jim Jordan. It is, I think yesterday not getting the votes he needed was not surprising, but I think the amount that he didn't get was a bit surprising. So to be 17 votes short, to have 20 members not vote of his own caucus, conference not vote for him. And I think part of what is the trickiest for members is we have sort of 2 pockets of members that are trying to figure out what to do. We have members who are running in districts that Biden won, and they don't feel like they can cast a vote for somebody who still will not acknowledge that President Trump did not win the 2020 election. But then we have members that are afraid if they don't vote for Jim Jordan, they'll get primaried in their home district. So we have these pockets of Republicans who are trying to figure out, how safe am I? What is my district composition? And then you have representatives like Ken Buck, who are very concerned about the types of policies Jim Jordan has advocated for previously and the tactics he will use if he is Speaker, mostly the tactics that would be completely being obstructionist, not working with members of the other party, which typically we don't want to see anyway, but that he would be so obstructionist we would not get anything done. So there's these members that have different priorities, and they just cannot come together around this particular candidate.
And, you know, I mean, the founders, I always think of the Constitution, you know, set things up almost to be difficult to pass legislation, right? I mean, it's all gum-ups. You've got 3 different branches: executive, a complete independent judiciary, a bicameral legislation. You know, you have 2 different houses. This, however, is absurd, most would say, especially when there are 2 legitimate wars where funding is in some way going to be needed for the United States, and those purse strings are going to be, at least initially, handled by Congress. Do you think the average American cares right now, or are they unawares of this situation and the potential fallout?
Yeah. No, this is a great point you bring up, Brad. And I will note that your points about the Constitution creating a process to make things slow and at times ineffective is absolutely right. I will add to that individual rules created by the House make this even more challenging. And on top of this, the things that were put in place when Speaker McCarthy was elected about how many members it would take to oust a speaker and all of that make this even more complicated. And to the point you just made, with the things going on in the world, where the world is literally at war and on fire, and that we have a responsibility, our bodies, our government bodies have a responsibility to take some type of action. And it's the politics at home that is paralyzing our opportunity, our ability to help where help needs to be given. I think that there is an increasing level of frustration. And I will note that people were already frustrated with what's been going on in the House and what's been going on with the Republican Party. But the stakes are so high now that this is an opportunity for the Republican Party to rise above all of it, to try to have a unifying message to say, listen, we need to put some things aside and we need to help where we are required to help. And they have not done that so far.
politically right now, who wins?
Oh, right now, this is all in the Democrats' hands, right? I think that, so just today and yesterday, for example, they said, we'll work with the Republicans to elect a speaker. But that sounds great for Democrats to say we're doing everything we can, but it doesn't serve the interest of Republicans to work with Democrats. So this plays in the Democrats' hand right now. It plays into their hand running in 2024. If Jim Jordan does become speaker, it also plays into their hand because they can say, if we have a presumptive nominee Trump and a speaker Jordan, we need to make sure that those people are not in the seats of power in 2025. So right now, the Democrats are sitting back and feeling pretty good about how this is playing out.
I mean, imagine that. Speaker Jordan and President Trump, and, well, a possibility right now. This is going to stop no time soon, Professor Chod, so we will have you on again soon. We appreciate your time. Last minute coming on to join us on the stream. We appreciate your time. A congressional expert and professor at North Central College. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.